Uma grande batalha está sendo travada no preço do Bitcoin desde a aprovação do ETF na quarta-feira. Muitos acreditavam que o Bitcoin poderia fazer uma alta muito forte nos primeiros dias e foram surpreendidos com a verdade dura da realização de lucros de muitos que estavam posicionados no Bitcoin desde os 15 mil dólares. E diante da batalha de gigantes que está sendo travada no preço, nós identificamos as operações que bateram recordes nos primeiros dias, mais de 4 bilhões de dólares de negociação, de volume negociado no ETF do Bitcoin, mas também uma gigantesca luta para a troca do GBTC por outros ETFs do mercado que agora estão à disposição. Gigantes como BlackRock, Grayscale, ARK Invest, Fidelity, dentre outros, estão batalhando pelo coração dos investidores americanos. A Coinbase também está bem pressionada neste cenário, pois atualmente, devido às taxas promocionais para a aquisição dos ETFs de Bitcoin, é muito mais barato manter o ETF negociado do que manter a custódia da própria moeda. E eu queria que você acompanhasse nesse vídeo que nós vamos apresentar agora todo o desenrolar e por que essa batalha está acontecendo. Nesse momento, a gente tem o preço do Bitcoin sendo negociado aos 42.897, lateralizado nas últimas 4 barras de 12 horas, ou seja, nos últimos dias, formando uma perigosíssima bandeira de baixa que ainda está dentro do nosso canal de acumulação, o nosso canal maior, o nosso canal mais lento, mas ameaçando a perda desse canal e direcionando o movimento do Bitcoin para casa, provavelmente para casa dos 40.700 até 40.200 dólares. A perda desse suporte importantíssimo pode produzir uma queda do BTC na região dos 38 mil dólares para os próximos dias. Então, para você ficar ciente e entendendo o porquê dessa queda e quais os riscos que nós temos logo mais aí na reabertura do mercado a partir das 9 horas da noite, o mercado tradicional, quero te convidar a assistir este vídeo que explica tudo sobre essa grande batalha de gigantes.
I do think this is a historic moment in the sense of it's the first time that the internet and Wall Street, they've had this healthy tension for a couple of years, even a couple of decades, and it's the first time Wall Street blinked.
We are witnessing history as record amounts of money flow through these Bitcoin ETFs on the first day of listing.
Listen, today is going to be chaos, right? Because you've got 13 sales forces trying to pull in money. You've got Grayscale, this giant that lots of people are going to be redeeming from. And so at the end of the day, at 2:30, when you put in your redemptions and your creates, there's going to be
We're seeing chaos as the spot Bitcoin ETFs record $2.38 billion in trading volume for the first day.
Okay, now let's talk pricing, the price of Bitcoin.
Our base case is in the $600,000 range. Our bull case, and we think the probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval. This is a green light. Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030. You can see the building blocks. You can see how conservative we are.
And if we look at the winners, ranking the 11 newly trading Bitcoin ETFs, Grayscale is coming in at number 1 with over $1 billion in volume. BlackRock coming in at number 2 with over $600 million in volume. And Fidelity, ARK Invest, Bitwise, Invesco.
What is going to ultimately make your fund distinct from Cathie Woods' fund, distinct from Grayscale, distinct from BlackRock, Fidelity? How should somebody who's watching this morning, who may say to themselves, you know what, maybe I want to buy one of these things, actually decide?
So I think in the long run, you're going to have 2 or 3 that actually win. I don't think it'll just be one winner. It'll be a couple winners. We have a ETF in Canada with CI Group, and we started second. We were second place, and now we're the largest ETF. And I looked last year at tracking error, because all you really care about as an investor is, does this thing track Bitcoin? We were less than 1% tracking error. Our largest competitor was 11%. And so all ETFs are not created equal. So what goes into that? It's your execution, it's your liquidity, it's the hidden fees, right? And so we think we've done this before. We've done it in Germany, we've done it in Canada, we've done it in Brazil. We know how to run a cash trade ETF.
So when people say something could go wrong, that's what you're talking about.
It's tracking error.
But we're now watching all these different Bitcoin ETF issuers compete against each other to sell their client base their Bitcoin ETF.
I imagine we're going to start seeing advertising, maybe on CNBC, maybe in the Wall Street Journal and other places, because all of these folks who have these ETFs are desperately going to need customers.
Yes. So listen, Invesco did a call in Asia with 90 salespeople last night. I imagine the other 13 ETF providers are doing the same thing. And so Bitcoin has always been about adoption, right? You've sold Bitcoin, you haven't bought it, right? You had to convince people. We call it orange pilling.
Now the winners are still being chosen, but actually combined in the first hour, this already broke records. The 10 fresh spot Bitcoin ETFs. I guess that means everybody but Grayscale, since they already had billions of dollars in funds. As a group, they already topped BITO's record, which is Bitcoin futures, which used to hold the record. The latest report, according to Yahoo Finance data, is that the spot Bitcoin ETFs hit 3.5 billion in trading volume today. But just understand that that is both buying and selling. And when we compare these Bitcoin ETFs to all ETFs in general, it's actually BITO and GBTC who are both in the top 10 among overall ETFs in trading volume today, although BlackRock's and Fidelity's also making it in the top 25. And to contextualize this, just know for the new ETFs, for the 10 fresh ETF volumes, that does equal buying of BTC today, clear cut. But for GBTC, the volume probably all is selling.
You just said there's going to be a lot of people redeeming at Grayscale. Why do you say that?
Listen, people bought Grayscale at a 30%, 40%, 50% discount to NAV and with Bitcoin far lower. And so the chance to now get out at par, they're going to do that.
And there is still a fee war going on among these ETFs. Who has the cheapest fees?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fee war.
And that's what I mean. Is it going to be profitable for anybody? There's a huge amount of demand that's built up, but there's also a huge amount of players who want to meet that demand.
So if you look, Grayscale was at 2%, they dropped to 1.5%, right? And people are like, why didn't they drop all the way down to 0.2%? Well, the big thing is, if you want to go sell your Grayscale and try to roll somewhere else, you're going to have to pay taxes, unless you're in a tax advantage account. So there's a lot of assets that are going to stay in Grayscale, right? And those guys will never get enough credit for pushing this issue and really kind of helping push it forward. But I think that what you see is Grayscale saying, hey, we already have a lot of assets. Let's hold on to what we have. And everyone else saying, well, we want all the new assets that are going to come in, so we got to go compete in the fee war. And so 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, how much does it really matter? Some advisors really care. Other advisors say, hey, I just want to buy something that's a great product that I think is going to track the price correctly. But what I think is going to ultimately end up occurring is there's going to be tens of billions of dollars that are going to flow into these ETFs, and you have a finite asset. So it will go up.
And price will go up in the long term. But in the short term, on the day of the listing, is now the time to sell.
What I think you're missing is this is a limited supply asset. We don't have a lot of limited supply assets. And there are a lot of people that believe in this like a religion, so they're not selling.
That's right.
And so
70% won't sell. So where does it come from?
And so you're going to drive price up as you get more adoption.
Short term, do you say to yourself, there's a whole bunch of people who've bought in the last 3-4 months waiting for this day to come. Do they sell into this?
Yeah,
do they hold?
I think today we could literally see 50,000 and 40,000 trade. We're going to see a lot of volatility today. Traditionally, ETFs mark the high, the short-term high, right? Almost every one of them has come out. Then there's a sell-off, and then there's the rally.
So I'm expecting massive price swings up and down in these first few weeks.
I'll never sell, but I look at it and I'm thinking, wow, it'd be nice to get, 46 is not a bad number.
There's a lot of people who sold Amazon over the years, right, and many other great investments. But I think
we don't know it's an Amazon.
well, it's been better than Amazon.
But just understand, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I have a retirement account with Vanguard. I called them and they said they will not be offering any of the Bitcoin ETFs, meaning Vanguard is blocking any of their clientele from actually buying Bitcoin. Here's somebody trying to buy Fidelity's, and it says trade cannot be complete. And this appears to be confirmed by the company itself. Vanguard, the second largest asset manager in existence, says they are blocking all clients from buying spot Bitcoin ETFs on their platform. A spokesperson stated these products don't fit with Vanguard's investment philosophy, and high volatility runs counter to our goal of helping investors generate positive real returns over the long term. Yet, I did a little bit of digging, and if you look at the top 10 owners of MicroStrategy, Vanguard's number 2. Vanguard is a top 10 owner of MicroStrategy and also owns Bitcoin mining stocks. Also, Vanguard in the past has let clients purchase GBTC. Of course, now they can only sell. And Vanguard also lets you trade BITO, which is the inferior futures ETF product. Something doesn't add up. Also, Coinbase is going to have to adapt, as it's now cheaper to buy a Bitcoin ETF than it is to buy actual Bitcoin on Coinbase.
So Coinbase may have to drop their fees because it may be more inexpensive to hold the Bitcoin ETF for a year than to make one simple trade on Coinbase. So obviously,
se você ainda não é inscrito na Academia Cripto Com Fé, o link está na descrição do vídeo. Venha participar do melhor e maior hub de conhecimento do mercado de criptomoedas. Você vai experimentar um conteúdo completamente personalizado para você. Você que é iniciante ou você que já está no mercado há algum tempo. Na Academia Cripto Com Fé nós temos treinamentos de análise gráfica, treinamentos de DeFi, acompanhamento diário, análises gráficas exclusivas e informações privilegiadas e todo um overview do mercado de criptomoedas diariamente para te deixar extremamente preparado para o ano do halving do BTC. Então vem para a Academia Cripto Com Fé, o link está na descrição do vídeo. Grande abraço!